All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Ed Lynn coming to you all from Green Bay, Wisconsin, where spring has finally arrived. The snow has finally melted. I hope all of you doing well and ready for a great weekend. And thanks for attending my webinar. I'm going to share with all of you today and discuss with you how new technologies are changing the way we treat patients every day. All right. I'm certain all of you are familiar with the Davos World Economic Forum. It happens every 2 years. It's held in Davos, Switzerland. I found that this year's theme in January, Mastering the Fourth Industrial Revolution, was very interesting. And what is the Fourth Industrial Revolution exactly? Well, what it is characterized by a fusion of technologies that is blurring the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. And that is exactly what we are all going to be talking and discussing about today, okay? So, I want to clearly state first, conflict of interest. I have no financial interest in any of the dental technologies I'm lecturing about in this webinar to disclose to any of you. I utilize all the technologies that I will be mentioning, that I use, and I'm a firm believer in all of them, okay? All right, so let's get started with things. So just so those of you who know me, who don't know me, I have two separate businesses that I'm in. One is Orthodontic Specialists of Green Bay, where we have two practices in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I also have another partner in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is about 20 minutes south of Green Bay, called Apple Creek Orthodontics. All right, so I have been practicing since 1999, and through this whole time, it's very, very interesting to see this whole progression when you look back at history. And I'm a firm believer in history because I think we can learn a lot from history. All right, so back in 1998, my partners, at that time, they started making the digital transition to OrthoTrack Classic. Unix-based program, good program, but not very user-friendly. They also signed on with OrthoTrack Imaging in 1999. They purchased it actually a month before I joined the practice. It was an okay program, I would say, at best at that point in time. All right. We made the big jump into Invisalign. I think we all understand the impact of Invisalign with clinical orthodontics today. That without a doubt has changed the way we all practice. We went to self-ligation brackets in 2000, have tried so many different kinds, I can't even name it all, but we've settled on the American Empower brackets. Good bracket, reasonable cost, durable, looks good, easy to open and close. All right, we went to digital models instead of plaster models in 2002. In 2002, we also decided OrthoTrack Imaging was not meeting our needs, so we actually bit the bullet, had to swallow a major expense, and decided to switch to Dolphin Imaging. All right, our experience with Dolphin Imaging at that time was really great, so we decided to move to Dolphin Management as well. At the same exact time, we also signed on with OrthoSesame, and I think we all understand what OrthoSesame does with communication tools with GPs, referring docs, and patients. Temporary anchorage devices have become a big part of my practice. I use them for all Class 2, Class 3, and open bite mechanics. You'll see a little bit of that today. And if you look back here for those 6 years from 1998 to 2004, the highlighted in purple are the technologies that we still utilize in our practice. And some of you may be surprised that we don't use Invisalign anymore, okay? And I'll share with you why that is shortly. All right, so let's keep moving on to see what's happened in the mid-2000s to current times. In 2005, big impact in our practice. We actually signed on with SureSmile, and we actually ventured into intraoral scanning, all right? And we, all three of the doctors, myself, Dr. Belkowski, Dr. Tomasetti, we're all 100% SureSmile practices, and we only treat with SureSmile with full fixed cases, and we firmly believe it for both labial and lingual cases too as well. All right, at that same time, we actually purchased Dolphin 3D. We actually did not even have a CBCT machine at the point in time, but we purchased the 3D software from Dolphin because we got it at the beta price, and it was more cost effective, and as a result, our support fee would be less on an annual basis. Then we purchased an iCat. It was probably about 3 or 4 months later, we purchased our first iCat Classic. All right. Our experience with that first Classic machine was phenomenal. It was a workforce for us. So when I actually opened up my practice in Appleton, Wisconsin in 2008, we actually put an iCat Next Generation or Platinum machine. That was the only machine that we had in that practice to this date. In 2008, I already mentioned that we do lingual. SureSmile came out with lingual braces, and it's not a huge part of my practice. You know, I'd say maybe start 50 cases per year, but it's a very good adjunct to the practice, especially for patients who want aesthetic care and want it done quickly. In 2012, we actually bought our lab purchased a desktop laser scanner. We actually don't send any of our appliances out. We do everything in-house. All right. And in 2013, SureSmile came out with SureSmile aligners. We actually helped them with the beta version of this. Now it's gone live. And SureSmile aligners is all that we utilize now. We really don't use Invisalign anymore. All right. And in 2013, we also took the leap and signed on with Accellident. So that's probably, I would say we've been using it now for about 2.5 years in the practice now. All right. And it's also a very good adjunct for the practice. We'll be talking about that in the second half of my lecture today. All right. In 2013, the iCAD Flex came out. And that, without a doubt, I think has revolutionized CBCT because it's a very short scan time at 4.8 seconds scan time for the Quick Scan Plus settings, but also low dose, where you can get dosage levels down to like 5 microsieverts with the Quick Scan Plus, and even with a 13 centimeter Quick Scan, I mean, you're still in the range, depending on your field of view, of somewhere between 20, maybe 40 microsieverts, which is very comparable to a digital Ceph-Pan. All right, so we replaced our classic machine here with the Flex machine in our Green Bay practice. All right, our experience with the Flex was phenomenal, and as a result, in the Appleton practice, we actually swapped out the next gen Platinum machine with the Flex machine too as well. We just felt it was the right thing to do for all of our patients. All right, and in 2015, we actually ventured into the world of 3D printing. We purchased our first EnvisionTEC micro-refractory printer in I think it was February of 2015, so just a little over a year ago. And that has been a big adjunct in our practice for retainers as well as for aligners, because we fabricate all of our aligners in-house now. Towards the right after the AAO of last year, we actually purchased 2 3Shape Trios 3 pod intraoral scanners. In my opinion, the fastest scanner, the best scanner on the market. We actually also purchased an iTero Element scanner. However, the Element scanner was on back order for so long, wasn't getting delivered. Also, to date, it still has not been certified with SureSmile. Obviously, with the SureSmile practice, that's an issue. So my partner, Jim Tomasetti in Appleton, he saw the Trios 3 in action, and he was just so amazed that because we're doing our scans now in 3 minutes, that's upper and lower, without brackets, with a bite, we're doing about 3 minutes. All right, and he was so impressed with that, he just said, forget it. Let's just cancel our iTero Element order, and let's go to the 3Shape Trio. So now we have 3 of those, and we're using them at full speed. And in all honesty, if you have a wish list for all 3 of us, we probably wish we had one more in each practice. All right, so as I mentioned, 3D printing has become a major part of our practice for replacement retainers, for aligners, and it's not decreasing, it's only increasing. So as a result, 3 months ago, we actually purchased our second 3D printer, the Vita printer from EnvisionTEC. It's a slightly bigger print tray. We can print up to maybe, depending on the size of the models, 11 models, 12 models maybe. But on average, I'd say 10 on a full print job. If any of you are interested, I'm actually going to be lecturing at the AAO in a couple weekends on 3D printing specifically. Okay, today's lecture, I don't have enough time to go into that in detail. In 2016, we've also decided, were beta testing, alpha testing actually last year, but then also beta testing with SureSmile, 3D printed indirect bonding trays. But about, I would say 4 or 5 months ago, I decided that I'm going to be doing 10 of these every single month. And so now we are all in the process of transitioning to traditional 3D printed traditional indirect bonding to 3D printed indirect bonding trays, where everything's being done digitally with an intraoral scan, setting the brackets on the 3D models. You can actually do a straight wire simulation, see how that plays out. But then once we approve it, we have a 3D printed indirect bonding tray, which is sent to us from SureSmile. In the future, this could be something where we actually do in-house, but still product that's in development right now. Okay, so now if we take a closer look at this from 2005 to 2016, look at this. Everything in purple here we are still utilizing in our practice. Accellident is still part of our practice, but I just kept that in the blue because the difference between Accellident and all these other technologies is that all these other technologies are 3D technologies. So I think all of you can figure out by now that one of our main focuses has been moving into the 3D world of digital orthodontics for our patients, and that's for all three doctors. Excelodent is a very good adjunct in our practice. It's something that I kind of took slowly, started off with the aligners primarily on, but now, as you'll see again in the second half of my lecture, I've been using them with some pretty complicated cases. All right. So let's talk about what I call innovative, disruptive, and transformative technologies, all right? And this is what I refer to as the cool stuff, because this is the fun stuff that really gets me excited about things. If you haven't figured out, I definitely, without a doubt, have a passion for technology. And I think it's so cool that we have that ability to implement technologies into real-life clinical practice for the benefit of our patients, all right? So obviously, we all understand cone beam. There's the Serono Galileos, the Planmeca Pro Max, there's Newtome, there's the Carestream, there's the Vatek from Iwu, Korean company, there's Prexion, there's Luma. I'm actually not even sure if Luma is still in existence anymore. There's the iCat Classic, the next gen Samsung, but again, I firmly believe that the iCat Flex is the best machine out there. Fastest scan, lowest dose CBCT machine on the market available. Okay, so I just want to do just a brief thing on just cone beam airway. You look at this patient here. It's a phase 1 case. We've got some crowding issues on the bottom. On the upper, early loss of upper right C, very tapered constricted arch. Do you extract, non-extract? I consider myself more a non-extractionist, without a doubt. I like the bigger, broader smiles. If we take a little closer look at this Panorex from the iCat, it doesn't matter what's iCat or Instrumentarium or whatever Panorex machine 2D, you can't tell if these are going labial or lingual. You got to take a closer look at this. And the only way you can look at this is in the 3D world. So if we look at this in the 3D world, Trung, hang on, you guys. My video is not playing. Okay. Oh, my apologies. Okay, there's an extra slide in there. So if we look at this in the 3D, look at that upper right 3. The upper left 3 is actually going more lingual. So you got one going labial, the other going lingual. This airway is not just like ridiculously narrow, but it's also not big. Okay, so do you want to pull teeth in a patient like this? The other thing is we do a clinical analysis too, evaluating tonsils. We asked them, are there any type of mouth breathing, snoring habits? There actually was a snoring habit with this young lady. All right. So elected to expand. This here is just showing I had to actually use the laser to uncover the tissue for the upper right 3 to bring it down in round wire. You can see the expansion and broadening of the maxillary arch. Put a lingual arch in on the lower. And then I didn't show the phase 2, but easy case after that to finish. She was sure smile, finished her 9 months. But more importantly, I think if you look here, we all understood the upper right 3 had potential for root resorption, the upper right 2. It has been blunted a little bit compared to the upper left 2, but not ridiculously short. So I think this is a tooth that this young lady will take to her grave. If we take a closer look here, you can see the shortening of the upper right 2, but the root otherwise is in good health. And then look at that airway. All right, some of that is partly due to growth, but without a doubt, the expansion has helped it out. Okay, and you look at pre and post here. All right, and then look at pre and post here too as well. All right, so without a doubt, there's been a significant increase in volumetric airway. And this is a study done by Marquette University from a couple years ago. Dimensional changes of upper airway after RPE using cone beam. These results confirm the findings of previous studies of the effect of RPE on maxilla. Additionally, we found that only the cross-sectional area of the upper airway at the posterior nasal spine to Bayesian level significantly gains a moderate increase after rapid maxillary expansion. I think we all understand what's happening right now. You look at all these dental sleep appliances. Patients are coming in where they're coming in with diagnosed with the OSA. They're on CPAPs. They say they can't tolerate CPAPs. I think we should be catching this at an earlier age. All of us should be. And we need to work with the pediatricians and the dentists to recognize these issues so that we can diagnose these cases at appropriate time versus when they get older where we're more limited to what we can do. All right. So now let's talk a little bit about digital orthodontics. Okay, again, innovative, disruptive, and transformative 3D technologies. From the labial side, we all know there's SureSmile. There's also Insignia from Armco. I'm a SureSmile guy, so I'm going to be talking about SureSmile. Okay, so what I've learned, and as you know, I've been using SureSmile for the last 11 years now. In digital orthodontics, in my opinion, control of the wire is much more important than a customized bracket. Okay, and I know this because I treated a couple Harmony lingual cases, and you know, I think that, and I actually did do the online certification for Insignia. But you know, what happens when those customized brackets don't get you all the way there? Well, you can have their robots bend in the first degree and second degree, first order and second order, but SureSmile is the only technology that can bend in third order, which is with tip and torque, and those are the more complicated movements. And they're doing this all in copper nickel titanium wire. All right. So in my experience, when you're stuck at the end, the wire is much more powerful than that customized bracket because we can modify it. Okay. So you know, SureSmile. If you ask myself, Lee Bilkowski, Jim Tomasetti, all three of us would without a doubt would say that SureSmile is not going away in our practice. We all love it, okay? And even better, it's all in the cloud now. So the cost of it has gone down significantly, and it's just easy. All you need is high-speed internet access, okay? All right, so big thing recently was the combination of all three of these technologies, because we've been doing ICAT with SureSmile for a long time, but we were also using the SureSmile intraoral scanner. And back then, it's still, not even back then, it still requires powder, which is alcohol-based. It stings. It's messy. It takes time to paint on. It takes time to clean up. And the other issue is the scanner. Even when we got good at it, our fastest scan was around 10 minutes. You know, average is somewhere between 10 to 15 minutes, 12 minutes, let's say. But with the 3Shape Trios, you know, first of all, we're doing probably 99% of our scans with the iCAD, and then we're only quadrant scanning when there's metal restorations or large composites. So it's easy to scan that. All right, so it's just changed the whole clinical flow. And if we need to do a full arch scan, even with the 3Shape Trios with brackets on, it still only takes about 5 or 6 minutes at the very most, okay? So benefits of new generation intraoral scanners. No comfort, no powder, no impressions. Tremendous marketing tool for your practice. You know, we are definitely making the push to go to impressionless dentistry. Maybe not 100%, but it's definitely a goal of all of ours, and our patients do love it. I think, in that, you know, we all have to budget for technology. Having purchased 2 3D printers in the last less than a year and a half, 3 Trios, 3Shape intraoral scanners, and we just actually did a huge major server upgrade. It was out of our budget for this year, but I think we're probably going to be able to put into our budget for next year to get 3 more of those, and we'll have 2 at each practice, and then we'll really be able to hum. All right, no retake support impressions. Obviously, we all know this saves share time, extra appointments. You got to have a good intraoral scan, okay? Garbage in, garbage out. You get a good scan, much more precise than any impression, okay? The digital scan is saved. We can be sent immediately to the lab via internet, time and shipping savings. All right, we obviously just send it to our own lab. We'll save on lab material and payroll expenses. Obviously, some of that's going to be transitioned onto doing the digital setup with the software, with the Trios, Ortho Analyzer. If you have a 3D printer, it also gets transmitted to creating bases, 3D printing. All right. So I really think, but it's going to save time. You know, we'll save a little bit of time. Okay. So it's going to ultimately save expenses. The models can be 3D printed immediately. All right. I mean, I did a SureSmile liner case beginning of this year. It's actually one of the Green Bay Packers backup cornerbacks. And we had a new patient exam. He said he was going to do it, generalized spacing case, and we had his liners ready for him 6 days later. You know, if we had to send that out to another lab, there's no chance it would have been done because there would have been shipping time involved. All right. So again, what is the expense of impression material, share time, stone plaster, and lab time? You know, at some point in time when I have time, I may sit down and try and really figure out what is the cost analysis saving there. But at the worst, you're saying it's a wash, but I actually think there's some savings there. Okay. And with these new generation intraoral scanners, they're incredibly fast. All right. And I remember walking to my clinical coordinator, Angie's office one day, and I saw all this stuff. I was like, holy cow, man, look at that. So these are all our SureSmile aligner cases. Okay, so this is actually our original. It would print, you can see here's 6. It can actually, smaller arches, it could print up to 7. Our bigger one, again, on probably average is 10. We can probably, smaller arches, get up to 12. So SureSmile aligners. What do we do with SureSmile aligners? Well, we just real briefly, you can see the printed models. We do actually all our packaging ourselves. I think we go to, I can't remember, craft store in Green Bay. We buy like 1,000 baggies. I mean, they're pennies to buy these baggies. And then we just have somebody who prints the stickers that we put on there. We give it to them. All right. This is generalized spacing case. Obviously, look at the rotation angulation of that canine here. All right. This is the intraoral scan. This is the plan. You can go into 3D and see it better. I like to trim our aligners a little longer past the gingival margins just so we get a little better retention from the natural undercut of the CEJ. Look at this tooth here. That's the difficult movement. There's no attachment on that. This is the finished case. All right. You can see 8 maxillary aligners, 22 mandibular aligners, 6 refinement aligners, 36 total aligners. Okay. So, total cost of that, I can tell you, I did a cost analysis of it. It was actually just under $500. Much better than spending whatever Invisalign's expenses are. I think if you're a super premier provider, you can get it down to maybe close to $1,000. But if you're not, it's $1,200, $1,600, whatever it may be. Okay. All right. So what else is changing our profession? I think digital indirect bonding, without a doubt, is gaining bigger and bigger traction. OrthoCAD came out with their IQ. I don't think the hardware and the software was truly up to speed at that point in time, way back when. But, as we all know, technology's gotten better. And so this is OrthoSelect's DIB system. It's a true 3D printed indirect bonding tray that they make. This is Arcad Dental Lab. They actually have software where you position the brackets. I'm not exactly certain how they reference things, but they do their trays still traditionally. All right. I had one of their lab techs email let me know that. Great Lakes, this is their software. Again, everything's done online, intro scan for all these technologies. And then you use their software, you position the brackets, and then they actually print the models, and they have they told me they have a patented way of making certain the bracket goes on the model in a very precise manner. And then they fabricate a traditional indirect bonding tray. Okay. And then there's SureSmile, this is actually one of my patients. And SureSmile is very similar to OrthoSelect's DIB system. intraoral scan, everything's done online, and then create the 3D printed tray virtually, and then it's 3D printed and then sent to you. All right. So now let's talk about accelerated orthodontics. And I think this is something, without a doubt, it's not going to go away. There's Acceladent Aura that's available now. OrthoPulse is available. I know Propel actually has their technology too as well. I actually looked into OrthoPulse, researched it. However, decided just from my experience with Acceladent, because we've been using it for a while, patients come in and they tell you, Acceladent makes my teeth feel better. It's a tooth massager. And OrthoSelect is it's just a light. It just sits there. I think they try and get their time down, maybe in comparison to Acceladent. However, a lot of patients will come in, they'll use it for 10 minutes before they come in, and then they'll use it for 10 minutes after. Okay, so the feedback from the patients has without a doubt been very positive. It's gaining traction. We actually had just a month ago, I think we had like 7 units available, and I was thinking that we could make it to the AAO, and 6 of them we started already. So I'm hoping that in 2 weeks we only have 1 more start, and I'll be placing an order and we can get them in right away. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly go over an Acceladent, just some things that I think we should all understand when we're using technologies. We should at least have a good understanding of things. We don't have to be experts, but understand grams of force are very light, 25 grams of force at 30 hertz. Single user prescription device. Patients use it at home for 20 minutes daily throughout treatment. Okay. It can be split up, as I mentioned. It's fast. Their statistics show 50%. I usually tell my patients, it's probably going to be minimum 30%, up to 40% is what I say. I just like to be realistic. If you under promise and you outperform, they love you. If you overpromise and you underperform, they don't love you. Okay, so chewing forces, the graph shows at 5,000 grams, very heavy. Acceladon again is 25 grams. It's FDA approved. Zero adverse effects with over 40,000 units shipped. They call it self-pulse technology. They're very gentle, 200 less times force to teeth than ordinary chewing. It's fast, again, 20 minutes. Actually, this is the same slide. I'm sorry. So, all right, let's go to some clinical cases. And what I've actually seen happen, because the majority of my cases were done with SureSmile aligners. But what I've really noticed happening in the past year, and you know how word of mouth spreads, I think that's part of it, the issue, the impact, the effect of finishing cases is the majority of the patients who are coming in, the more complicated cases. This gentleman, he's coming in, obviously class 2, he's got some crowding issues top and bottom. Class 2 is on the right, blocked out canine. So I talked to him about extracting that upper right 3. Okay, there's also another issue here. He's got a pretty decent maxillary cant. So I don't know what most of you would say treatment time for something like this if you're going to extract the upper right 4. But with SureSmile, I told him 16 months. Well, then he asked me, can I get done faster? All right. And I said, well, we can use Acceladon. All right. So treatment started was August 6, 2015. So only, 8 months ago. We extract the upper right 4. He decided to do ceramics upper and lower, closing the space up here, obviously. This is only 2 months into treatment. This is February of just this past year. 5 months, 26 days, to say 6 months in treatment. Things are coming together really nicely. The interesting thing about this date, you guys, because I'm a SureSmile doctor. We're set up to do the SureSmile scan. And I just decided, I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, this is going to be easy to finish off with SureSmile because I can correct that cant very easily in SureSmile's digital software and program the smile in. But I just thought it'd be interesting to see what would happen if I try and do this conventionally without SureSmile and just Acceladon alone. So I talked to him about it. I told him I'd refund him his SureSmile fee, and he said, let's do it. And so we'll see how this turns out because he's still in treatment. But this is, occlusally, this is not a difficult thing to finish off anymore. All right, but the cant is still there. All right, so this was just last month, so only 3 weeks ago. Got it, and I'm seeing this guy probably like every 4 weeks or something like that, 4 or 5 weeks maybe. I had them take this view like this just to show you this picture right here, okay? And if you see, I repositioned bracket sustain. You can see everything's going up. I actually repositioned the left of the right, the lower right 4, lower right 3, a little bit more occlusally. You can see, look, it's curving up. So it's going to intrude this. It's going to extrude this here on top. And then I've got them on triangle elastics on the right side there. So we'll see where things happen. That's where the smile is at. And then this is where before and after. Okay, and I think he's coming again to see me again next month. And I'll either move him into a beta titanium wire and put bends in, or I'll reposition again. Okay, so I'm hoping I can get him done in under 12 months, excuse me, because he's about 8 months in right now. I think if I would have treated him in SureSmile for certain, I would definitely been able to finish him up from February to whatever, that would have been another 6 months. I would have definitely had him done. And it'll be interesting to go back and just compare appointments too. Would I have to see him more with traditional versus with SureSmile? But I'm going to do a case analysis later on down the road. Okay, so just to show you, we started his treatment August 6th, this treatment card. He had an emergency, the following month later, changed the chain to close the space, obviously. October, moved him into heavier wires, 16 round, 16 squared. I use an 018 appliance, just so everybody knows, for both stainless steel and ceramic. In December, moved into 16 squared, 17 squared, and next visit, get reimbursed if we do not use SureSmile. That's when I talked to him about the whole SureSmile fee. And then it was here actually in January that we had that conversation. My apologies. So it was 17 squared, 17 squared, and then we're just going through 17 squared in February on the bottom. I moved into 1725 B-tie last month and 1825 Thermatie, which is American seed activated wire. So he's 7 months, 16 days in treatment at March. So he's currently right now in treatment for about 8 months. We'll see how things look next month, I believe. Okay, this is a pretty complicated case. full class 3. He went through surgical consultation. I told him that's the ideal treatment. You got to do it. He came back, said, I don't want to do surgery. Is there any alternative option? I said, all right, well, we could extract lower 4s. And then if we extract lower 4s, then I'm going to also have to put a couple TADs in on the bottom for anchorage. And I might even have to distalize on the bottom, possibly, depending on how things close up there. So, but we got to do it with Excelodent. So he said, let's do it. Okay, so extracted lower 4s. I placed a TAD between the 6 and the 7 on the lower right quadrant. On the left quadrant, I did not put a TAD in there because I did not have enough room. And that's why he's chained here from the left 6 to the right 7 here. You can see there's a steel ligature tie for indirect anchorage. That's going to be absolute anchorage. It's not going to slip forward. All right, you can look at these big, huge bite turbos. You got to jump the bite, and then we're retracting. I've got him into positive overjet now, but with this type of mechanics, you're going to get some dental tipping because I'm doing all this, just so you know, on copper NiTi wire. Okay, I've got a TAD in here on the left side. I think I put that in the very next following appointment because the 6 obviously was protracted because of the extraction of the lower left 4. So this is February, 5 months, 10 days treatment. This is actually just a week and a half ago. We did the SureSmile scan. All right, so April 5th, you can see the dental tipping. I can tell you right now, and I forgot to mention, he's actually also being treated with upper lingual, lower labial with Excelodent. Okay, so I'm sure you all figured that out. But I've got him in now currently on a 1622 reverse copper NiTi wire, or reverse NiTi wire. And that's going to obviously flare the lower anteriors out and decompensate some of that tipping. When I do the SureSmile plan in the future, I'll also put a little reverse curve of speed into the SureSmile wire to help me decompensate some of that dental tipping. But I'll show the case later on down the road, and we'll see how it all turns out. But for 6 months, 12 days to get him out of a full underbite, I think that's pretty amazing. I mean, actually, I did it, I think, in less time than that. It was actually closer to 5 months. All right. So, innovative, disruptive, and transformative 3D technologies. Well, this is supposed to talk about Incognito. eBrace was the original company. 3M bought it. They paid, I think, $100 million for it. Then Harmony came out from American Ortho. Actually, it was Harmony, but Harmony purchased it, I think, a couple years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. And then SureSmile has come out with SureSmile QT. So these are the 3 main technologies that are out there for lingual. I tried lingual when I was in my residency, and I did 2 cases, and I hated it, and I swore I was never going to do it. But the 2 things that changed my mind was the improvements to technology. Self-ligation. We use the GC lingual brackets now. We used to use GAC, but GC lingual brackets are made by TOMI because they are TOMI, and GAC lingual brackets are also made by TOMI. But the difference is the GC lingual brackets, I think we pay like $10.75, whereas GAC was charging us $18.50 per bracket. So when I found this out from the GC rep, it was a no-brainer. We switched immediately. Okay, this woman, Margot, she came in. She's got, not a complicated case, but she just said, I want to be treated with lingual, and I want to be treated fast. And I said, well, if you want to be treated fast, just because of the crowding down here with the inner bracket issues that we have to deal with lingual, it's going to take longer. Would you be open to doing ceramic labial on the mandible and lingual on the upper? Okay. And what we did for her was the day of the full bonding. This is indirect bonding, but traditional. We did a fast track in SureSmile. So that means we put on the braces that same day, and we scanned her. We did an ICAT scan as well as an intraoral scan for these quadrants here because she had restorations here. Okay. So for us, that's a long appointment. That's like a 3-hour, 15-minute appointment. Okay. We typically will schedule putting in the wires 6 weeks after the SureSmile scan appointment, and she gets her wires. We have progress records. I do virtual wire bends. So that just means at the chair side, I'm looking in the mouth. I'm plugging measurements into the software, step up, step down, step in, step out, torque, tip, etc. Order. 3 weeks later, they come back with the finishing wire, and this is the finished case here. 5 months, 22 days treatment with 8 total appointments with 1 emergency. So I'm going to go into treatment card now and just show you. This is the day of the full indirect bonding SureSmile fast track scan. All right, started off with 16 round upper and lower. Lingual obviously was the upper. We got her back April 14th. She had a bracket off. And so that was, what, 2 weeks later? That probably should have been an emergency. I don't know why it was coded like that. And then May 5th, we moved her into her first SureSmile wires. Okay, June 18th, simple retie. We just took photos. I usually let my SureSmile wires express themselves in the mouth for about 4.5 months. Then I feel I've got 100% expression. So the first wire was in May. Virtual wire bends was August 20th. So with Excelodent, remember, we shortened that time. So I did the virtual wire bends here. And then, actually, no, excuse me. I did the virtual wire bends here, July 28th. So that's actually only about 11 weeks with the SureSmile wires, from May 5th to July 28th. And then we put the wires in here, and then August 20th to September 15th. So that's 3 weeks because of Excelodent, took the braces off. All right. And lingual, would you ever imagine being able to lingual case in 5 months, 22 days? I don't think so. SureSmile definitely helps, and Excelodent definitely helps. All right. And this, in my opinion, is also clinical efficiency. All right. So this is kind of an interesting case that's still in progress. And I actually had another orthodontist, Nelson Hu, from San Francisco, who he was taking a Lou Chmura and Dave Paquette's sleep apnea course in Chicago just last weekend, I believe. And he came in, and I just saw this patient just last Thursday. So he spent just a few hours with me. She's obviously an orthognathic case. She went through the surgical consultation, and she came back and said, Dr. Lin, I don't want to do orthognathic surgery. Can't you do anything else? And I just said, Trish, look at all this recession you've got here. That's what really scares me. You've got a crossbite. You're not growing anymore. I can't expand the mid-palatine suture. So I'll try this, but I don't feel really comfortable if I start to see recession going on, trying to correct that crossbite. And she said, well, if it gets worse, then let's just stop. Okay, then I said, if you want to do this, let's just do it with Excelodent. Okay, so she wants to do lingual on the upper, labial on the lower with Excelodent, and we're doing non-surgical expansion. Okay, so this is, and she's got the open bite, which I haven't mentioned yet. We got to address that too as well, so I'll explain to you how we do that. All right, Panorex, bone, alveolar bone level looks good. Roots look good. I'm actually particularly concerned with this area here, because she's going to be a TAD case as well. All right, so this is the day of start of treatment, August 24th, 2015. You can see the expansion. I didn't put an extension arm on the left side because she's not in a crossbite here. I did put one here because that's where the crossbite is. I actually also bonded brackets on the 7s because between the 6s and the 7s on the upper, I didn't feel comfortable with the amount of space between the roots there. So I put an open coil spring here. I think you can see that here. All right. And then the following appointment, I placed 2 TADs between the upper 7s and 6s. You can see the expansion here. She's not in crossbite anymore. All right. Look at the tissue here because I've taken lots of photos. All right. Now, but the bite is open. We all understand that it happens. The 7s are going to tip, right? Tip down because everything's going labially. Bite opens. So this is going to get scary for you in the beginning. And it's always scary for me, but I trust in my TAD technologies. And then here we are, March 29th. Okay. We look at the intrusion of the 6s and 7s on the left side here. Over here, I actually bonded brackets here. We cemented the lingual arch. I bonded brackets. I was going to put 2 TADs in on the bottom there, but when I saw her, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how good she looks. I probably don't need to put TADs in there because this is going to go up when I put brackets on top there. And that's going to allow the mandible to counterclockwise rotate. And plus, there's an increased upper curve of speed. This needs to come down anyways. I need to develop that smile line. This needs to come up over here too as well. So I think I can close that bite without having to put the TADs in on the bottom. But if not, I can always put the TADs in on the bottom. I explained that to her, and she was very happy to hear that. Okay, so case is still in treatment. But what I want you to see here is, look at the tissue here. This is before, and this is after. All right. before, after, before, after, and then before and after. I actually think the tissue looks better now after the expansion, non-surgical expansion, than it did before any treatment was done. Okay, so to do this is kind of a scary thing in all honesty, but my thought there was that Excelodent will help to stimulate the bone remodeling. And I'm not telling you we're getting skeletal expansion. I am not making that claims by any means. But what is the true impact of this type of vibrational technology in bone? We know it's used in other aspects of medicine too as well. There's a large area of research that needs to be done with this stuff, but I think it's something that is never going to go away in my opinion, and it's something that I see these more complicated cases. I'm going to definitely require that they do Excelodent with it, and patients are actually going to ask it for some of these longer complicated cases too as well. So it's actually a good thing for all of us. All right, so summary and conclusions here. All right. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, cone beam CT is becoming the standard of care, especially with the current low dose CBCT machines. I mean, I honestly believe, when we're getting CBCT scans that are equivalent to digital periapical bite wings that are under digital Ceph, or not digital Ceph, digital pans, that are definitely less than film X-rays, we just need to eliminate film X-rays, and we should just come out and just say that film X-rays should no longer be utilized. If we made this whole fuss about how radiation issues were so harmful to our patients. Well, there are very harmful film X-rays that are still being used, especially when you're taking full mouth series, and then you're adding in Cephs and pans, and then you're adding in a CBCT scan, which I know has been done. All right. I think we need to change that. That's just my opinion, though. Okay. Market your CBCT to your dental colleagues is differentiator. We've done, several lunch and learns, dinner and learns, open houses on this over the years, because we've had CBCT for, I think, 11 years now, too, as well. We have dentists who refer patients to us for implants, airways, TMJs, pathology, trauma. It's a differentiator. It doesn't generate a ton of money, but if it's $20,000 a year, hey, I'm not going to say no to $20,000 a year. I have 3D imaging, 3D digital orthodontics are the future of our profession. I have no doubt about that. I think that's why we're all talking here today. Embrace the technologies that make sense to your practice. I'm just sharing with you guys the technologies that we utilize that make sense for us. I'm not telling you it's the absolute right way to do things. All right. But I think these technologies are all pretty powerful. All right. Embrace lingual. Lingual is not a huge part of my practice. It's a really good adjunct, though, and I, who thought after I graduated in 1999 I would never ever do another lingual case, I probably have, I've started at least 300 lingual cases now, over the years. All right. So, and I even treated my wife. So, all right. Embrace, do it in your own liner. SureSmile or Orchestrate. Orchestrate, they're the ones who started it all. They figured out how to get around Invisalign's patent. It's a good technology. They've got a very, very powerful software with OrthoAnalyzer, and but I'm a SureSmile guy. We know how to use SureSmile, and SureSmile is a technology that we utilize, and it works well for us. Embrace accelerated orthodontics, Excelodent. I think the Excelodent with the soft vibrations, the 20 minutes is not a major thing to ask of patients. I forgot to mention, they get this little slick USB key that fits into it. We ask them to bring their units in. I would tell you 95% of them bring their units in with them, and then we just take the USB key, we plug it in, and you can just track and make sure that they're wearing it. I actually have one adult patient. He's so nice, pretty cool guy, and he just I know I paid for this. I want to do it. I'm just not that good at it, and he probably wears it half the time. But he's honest about it, and so he knows he's not going to get the speed that he wants. Share overhead expenses. I shared with you, we've got actually 3 doctors in our practice. We actually have another doctor join our practice. It's been official. Dr. Jay Frazier has been practicing in Green Bay for 30-some years. He's going to officially start seeing patients out of our practice, out of our East Side practice in Green Bay, May 1st, and we're very welcome to bring him on board. So we'll have 4 doctors sharing overhead expenses. These technologies are not cheap. So much better to share it 4 ways than one way. Continue to learn and invest in technology advances in our orthodontic profession. I love it, but when you got a wife and the children are 11 and 7, it's challenging to balance work with family. But you got to do it, and it changes so fast. So it's not an easy proposition. I'm certain it's something that we all juggle with, and how you find that fine line. Investment will be with time, hard work, and money. It's not going to come easy. And anybody who wants that push of a button and it just magically happens, like what we thought would happen with Invisalign when it first came out, that's just not principled. It's not the right thing to do. We're specialists. We're the top of our class in dental school, and we have to go on for additional training. And we are, in my opinion, the orthodontists, and I'm obviously biased in saying this, I think we're the premier leaders of technology in the dental profession. I'm very proud to say that. All right. And the results will be with higher quality of care, more efficient practice, higher patient satisfaction, and we will have more fun practicing. I firmly believe I'm a better orthodontist now because of the technologies that we've implemented into our practices. I think you ask any of our partners, they all agree with you there, and there's no way any of us are ever going to go back. All right, so I've got 2 more slides to finish up with my presentation here. And this is a model. We think we all know who Steve Jobs is. Truly a visionary and pioneer. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And when I came across this quote, it really hit home because I truly consider myself so fortunate to be involved with our esteemed profession of orthodontics. I love going to my job. I never wake up and say, dang, I have to go to work today. I think with the technologies that we're able to learn about, implement, and utilize for the benefits of our patients, it's just incredibly fun, and it keeps changing, keeps getting better, and I love it. I'm sure many of you all feel that way too as well. So I'm going to finish with one final slide and video. And the question I ask all of you is, what can you do?
The real question that needs to be asked, as well as answered, is what is it that we can do that is unique, that is impactful?
When Bray was 11 months old, he was fitted for his first pair of prostheses.
We are going to empower every individual and every organization to do more and achieve more.
We'd use Microsoft technology to analyze Braylon's gait mechanics.
It's this process of continuous renewal, of showing courage in the face of reality.
I think the technology has changed Braylon's life by opening up the world for him.
Showing that courage in the face of opportunity.
What can you do? So, I think, that's something that we should all ask ourselves. And obviously a very heartwarming, feel-good video. The cool things that medicine is doing for society. And, again, we have these technologies at our fingertips in our profession. I think it's all of our responsibilities to learn about it, to collaborate like we're doing today, to push each other, to teach each other, to make ourselves better, to provide a higher quality of care for all of our patients.